Hello and welcome to MJ Studies. Today we'll discuss about AWS subnets. So what is subnets in AWS? How many types of subnets are there in AWS? How we can create subnets? How we can how we can use subnets? We'll see all those things in this video. So what is subnet? A subnet is a range of IP addresses in your VPC. You can attach AWS resources such as EC2 instance and RDS-DB instance to subnets. You can create subnets to group instance together according to your security and operational needs. So when we use subnets, so we are able to connect multiple EC2 instance or multiple resources in a single network. Only the subnet is used to assign the IP address to that resources which are attached to our VPC. The subnet is used to assign the IP addresses either public, private, or VPN only VPN only subnets. So there are three types of subnets: public subnet, which is directly connected with the internet gateway and gives internet to the resources which are give internet to the EC2 instance, which is connected to public subnet. Private subnet, which are used for the internal use, for internal processing of any data, or for internal use of any EC2 instance or RDS instance. We can use private subnet to connect within the internal infrastructure. So yeah, and the VPN only subnets, which is the third subnet, which is the subnet has a route to a site-to-site VPN connection through a virtual private gateway. So we can use this when we are using virtual private gateway. So we can assign this subnet to our EC2 instance or our AWS resources, so that the resources can be and come under the VPN which we used. So now we are seeing that how we can create the subnet in our AWS console. So to do this, first we need to go to VPC dashboard. If you don't check our previous video that how we can create VPC and how we can come to the VPC dashboard, just go and check for that video. I'll put the link in the I button, so just check for that video. So in our previous video we created the VPC, which is a part 1 video, so you go and check that video. Now in our this video we are going to create a subnets. So there are some subnets which I created, and some of the subnets which are default one. So I'll create the new one and show you that how we can create subnets in our AWS console. So yeah, to create a subnet we need to click on create subnet. Once we click on create subnet, here it asks us about the VPC. So we'll using the VPC which we created, mg study underscore VPC. So we are using this VPC. It comes up with the CIDR block. Here we can give, now this one is our main CIDR block, and now here we can assign a network. So subnet is also used if your organization, if you are working in an organization and you need to distribute the systems in your multiple departments of your organization. Then what we can do, we can create multiple subnets, one with the network 1.0 10.0.1.0, other with the network 2.0, other with the network 3.0, and the system with 1.0 will be assigned with the 1.1 1.2 network ID with the IP addresses. So by this we can just define, by this we can just get the information that this information is come up with this system, so it's belong to this department. So we can use subnet we can use subnet in this manner also. So yeah, now we are going to create a subnet. So we are going to give the name first to mj study underscore subnet underscore 1. So yeah, I give one subnet. Here we can select the availability zone, that in which availability zone you want this subnet to be. So either you can select non-preference, you can select any of the your preference availability zone. So we are going to select availability zone A1. Now here it will ask us about the IPv4 CIDR block. So we can give this CIDR block according to us. There's our main CIDR block is 10.0.0.0 slash 24. So now here we can, what we can do, we can give 10.0.1.0 slash 24. So this one is our CIDR block for this subnet. Now what we are going to do here, it will ask us about the name and the tag. So we can add more tags and we can remove the tag as we want. So now here by this we can add more subnets with the help of add new button. So we are going to select one more subnet. We are creating one more subnet, mj study underscore subnet underscore 2. So yeah, here we are going to select availability zone A1 1 2 1b. Now here we can IP we can select 2.0 slash 24. Here this is our CIDR block. Now here we can again same that we can add text and remove text. If we want to add more subnets, then we can add more subnet, but for now we are going to create a subnet. What it says us that CIDR address is not right. We are come up with the issue. So what we can do to solve this issue? We are going in the VPC panel. In the VPC panel, we select our VPC and check for the action. And in the action, we are going to edit the CIDR. By mistake, what we do, we select the CIDR with the low range. It only gives us a little bit amount of IP ratio, so we are not we are not able to assign the multiple subnets in this CIDR block. So what we do, we created another CIDR block with the help of add new IPv CIDR. So we add another CIDR with a range of 12.0.0.0/16. With the help of this CIDR block, we are going to do our work. So now what we can do, we are just going to subnet and just creating the subnet. Now to create a subnet, what we can select, we'll select the VPC, and here we'll going to give the name of that VPC, MJ study subnet 1. We are going to select the availability zone. Now we are going to give the CIDR block 12.0.0.1 and 0.1.0/24. So it's around 32 IP addresses are there in this block. Now what we are going to do, we are going to select the next subnet group. So we are going to give name of the subnet group as MJ study subnet 2, and we are selecting availability zone as a 2 here. You can select any availability zone as you want. So yeah, here we are going to select the CIDR 12.0.2.0/24. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create the subnet. So here you see that subnet 1 is created and subnet 2 is created. Both the subnets are created successfully and available to our use. So here we can check all the details of the subnets. We'll check the details of subnet, that what is this subnet used, where it is stored, what is the VPC, what is the route table it used, the network ACL, and all the details we can use. We can check for the flow log, that how this how the flow of logs, how the subnet is used in the resources. We can see this. We can check for the route table, that which route for in which route table this subnet is belongs to. We can check for the network ACL, that what is allowed to this subnet and what is denied for this subnet. We can also check for the CIDR reservation. If any CIDR is reserved, then we can check for that here. We can check for the sharing, that if any subnet is shared with this subnet, then we can check that thing here. We can check for the text here. We can add and manage the text from here. Now in the action, you will see multiple things we can change in this. So for the subnet group, we can change, we can create flow log, we can edit the subnet settings if we required any editing of any subnet resource, then we can check this. We can edit network ACL and many further things we can edit from here. We can check for the route table. We can check for the route table in our next video, that how we can go and edit our resources in the route table, how we can check for the resources, how we can route the traffic from one subnet to another subnet with the help of route table. We'll see all these things in our next video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any doubt, feel free to comment below. Please like, share and subscribe MJ Study. Goodbye.